It is an Edith as well as the Hylos. So technically speaking, this is going to be a wet pool noodle fight down in the bottom lane. Gold lane wise, I would say that Granger, I'm not too sure even. I feel that this is still matchup between the Granger as well as the Bruno. Bruno is very telegraphic as such because of the fact that it's telegraphic is easier for the Granger to see.
And he swoops in with the cable play. That's a two-man knockup with the onward. Earth Shatter.
Where's
Will
the damage?
walk out alive, but Hades can't seem to find a mark.
Where's the
Over
damage?
lead, though.
Oh man, where's the damage? This is really on Bray. I think the Bray has to pull off a crazy miracle to get kills.
A Hail Mary play.
Yeah. You have to sacrifice himself most of the time. In fact, I think that Bray is the one that is forced to do a lot in this game. And if he don't, then the whole team turns to dust.
Yeah, but this is just the only early game kind of mechanic that they're banking on. But they don't really have to go for these fights because Bray can
Tempo,
just
though.
swoop down and take in all the turtles. Bray is one of the best junglers in terms of the retribution steals. In the previous game against Hades, I think it was 100% jungle objective taken by Bray. So
True.
I don't think he is too worried about that for now. But he does have the Warcry emblem. So the longer he stays in the team fights, the more he hits and the heavier he hits.
So what RSG will want to do is that they want to avoid fights as much as possible, so they don't feed EXP over to Hades. That's the most important thing, because this is not a composition that can fight in the early stages. The moment that they start to feed over to Team Blood, they have no way to recuperate, and Bray will be under level. They need to ensure that Bray and Hades is always in the same level range in order for Bray to Tempest of Blades to get the Tempest of Blades and steal these objectives, just to keep everyone afloat. Which is why I said this is a very late game.
Speaking of late game though, pulling the turtle out of the den, out of the pit. Bray already in position. Got a little bit of passive play coming in from CS on that top side as well. It's 3v4 down on the turtle pit, but Hades can come in at any time. The door's pathway already laid down, but here comes Hades trying to swoop in and get that turtle for himself. Bray steals it with a retribution. Tempest of Blades down as well. Talk about damage though. The RSG actually walking over Flash SG, losing 3 in the process.
What the hell?
Curtizi, he would walk away safe. But man, oh man. Does that answer your damage question?
I'll call it on Bray. I'll call it on Bray.
It's all Bray. It's all Bray.
It's all Bray.
You don't really have CS in the mix of the fight as well, but
Yeah.
a lot of people honestly underestimate the damage that Jusin actually brings in early game as well. Once you
Even
get the claw down, you get so much ground control too.
Do that much damage?
You got Implosion as well as the Lantern pullback with the claw, kind of so to speak. So that is quite a bit of damage that Roy is able to dish out too.
Closer with 2 kills. Does the Ring of Punishment do that much damage?
Not a lot of like burst damage, but persistent damage. That's why, you know, Jusin is still viewed as sort of like a utility mage instead.
Okay, so they have quite a bit of damage over time per se, right? They have a lot of ways to...
Tsunami Slam into the Implosion. 2-man Purify out of the way. Jay jumps away to safety. No one falls, but man, a lot of crucial resources already used up by Flash SG. A very good find by Jay.
So, they have a lot of DOT coming in from Jusin and the Hylos. But that also means that they need to commit and be very close to the opponents in order to get these damage over time, to bring people down close enough and low enough for Bray to realistically do very good damage, right? So that's the caveat. Now that we saw in the very first team fight, they do have the damage, but with that caveat. So as long as Team Flash kind of stays clear a little bit and do not, mix up together too closely, they're going to be fine.
Aggression Pulse, get a Purify out of the way. All fine and dandy for now as SG plays a little bit more aggressively into the jungle. They do have that crop control to be able to do so. They just need that damage coming through.
5 minutes now. All of the energy shields of the turrets have been taken off. We want to see a bit more macro plays coming in from the teams, and in terms of macro plays, Hades can do them, Bray can do them as well. In fact, when it comes down to the jungle, it's as well.
Big implosion play onto the glorious pathway. Lord down at the 5th. Hades finally gets the retribution out of the way. Hades getting caught out again, stunned up by Closer. Good call, good play. Is Ken getting the Earth Shatter? Bray able to dash and walked out of the way. 3 members down for the side of Flash SG. At the very least, though, they secured the turtle for themselves. Now RSG SG 2,000 gold ahead, and it's extending once more.
They actually have got no answer for Bray. They allowed that 4 swords for Bray to be absorbed. I gotta have to solo my words here. That does apparently show that they have very decent damage in the early stages. They have been dominating in some of these team fights even. And Team Flash, I haven't exactly seen that onwards plus the Earth Shatter combo from Ken over to Bray. I think that it is also because of the fact that they are relying on Ken on some of these engage opportunities, or to do some CC layering right after the Tsunami Slam. Because right after Tsunami Slam, realistically, they don't have any more crowd control. They need to leave it over to Ken. So Bray's timing is actually very important. They need the front lines to soak up as much as possible, which will make sense why they have a Tigreal and a Hylos. Both of them to peel. Take a long time and make sure that they waste all the resources from Team Flash, and only then Bray joins into the fray. Which would explain why Bray had got free real estate throughout the entire fight and get all 4 of those swords.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. Tempest Ablaze will keep him up and alive for now. There's a 4 swords! One more hit! Hades will not fall. And able to get out, save with the cables. But that's a lot of damage from Bray. Good outplay, a good 1v1 once again from both junglers.
I didn't expect the amount of damage that Bray could dish out there. That was 2 swords that Bray managed to land. Go up to the wall, hit once, and 1 more dash again.
We're going for round 2, but I think the House from Bray actually heals him back up a little bit more, as both junglers not even looking at the turtle. Yeah.
While Bray still has the purple buff, so that is a little bit staggered. The timing for the purple buff for Bray is a lot better as compared to Team Flash. So this is good.
Yeah, free pickup of the turtle over to RSG.
2 levels ahead. Let's not forget about that as well.
Ramping up the aggression a little bit more as RSG, taking control of the game and taking control of the jungle. All they need to pop now is that T1 standing strong in mid. It's Bray constantly busy with the side lanes. The Tsunami Slam into the wall. Bray taking a lot of damage, but will be mitigated by the Tempest Ablaze. Taking a lot of damage as well. Gets taken down by JPL. That is Xanax that you're talking about. You can't escape the bouncing balls, but then again, you got a mid lane T1 torn apart by RSG.
So with that all said, 8 minutes in, we've got 3 of the T1 turrets that has already been removed out of the game for Team Flash Singapore, while RSG still have all of their turrets standing up tall. Let's take a look at the in-game equipment to have a good idea what we're looking at. With Ling currently with the Berserker's Fury, as well as the Haas Claws very soon on its way with the Endless Battle. With that 3 items, we pretty much can expect that Bray will rip through the front lines and not give a damn about Ken's tankiness, or perhaps even JPL's tankiness. He did build up the Brute Force Breastplate though, so that's fine and dandy. We also do have the Dominant Ice from Ken, so it helps to a certain extent. Blade of the Heptasis, Malefic Roar onto Fanny. Still on track if you ask me. I think that they are still on the curve. Bruno a little bit off curve. His first item actually built up onto the Haas Claw, so it is more of a safety build up for Team Flash, followed by more aggressiveness with that Berserker's Fury. It takes a little bit more before the Bruno is realistically in action.
The question I have in my head is, how is Flash SG playing into the hands of RSG SG? A lot of the major objective fights, Bray was there and doing most of the damage, and I think Flash SG is starting to find it a little bit harder to manage how Bray wants to play. You have the range that CS is able to deal with, able to take down that T2 at bottom side, so that opens up a lot of opportunities. Look at the rest of Flash SG, making a beeline towards CS, but there comes Closer and Roy, able to protect CS from any harm whatsoever. You get Bray starting off with that Lord. It doesn't look like Hades won't be able to steal it out as Bray secures that with the Retribution. First Lord game goes over RSGSG, and they're back on that defense. Not yet, though! Stunned out by Closer. What I tell you, the committal stun from that high loss is enough to stop Fanny in its tracks.
Oh man, great timing, great place to be. RSG now have got a Lord that will be marching down to the bottom lane at 10 minutes mark with no Hades for the next 15 point. And that means that Purple Buff coming in from Fanny is going to be absent for the next minute or so.
RSGSG, 4 members strong on the mid side. Bray slowly waiting for the waves to push in. No more T2s to be found for the side of Flash SG. Lord crashes through the bottom side. RSGSG playing it patiently, playing it safe, very disciplined. They'll let the minions just push in. They have to deal with Hades on the top.
Not gonna be a big deal, but they might lose the T2.
Oh, Tsunami Slam into the fray. JPL doing a lot of damage. Vanix, one more hit. He might be able to go down here as Bray comes onto the wall, keeps himself safe for now. Jay's the only one down for the side of RSGSG,
wow.
as well as the turret. The T1 has been cracked wide open.
Such value. It's just a level 1 Lord, a baby Lord, that allowed them to get themselves mid-lane inhibitor. That T3 is so important. And Team Flash, I don't even see how they can play the late stages. They had the early game damage, but they couldn't do anything or even crack open RSG. RSG even have a skilling late game from the Granger. They have a Link that naturally skills amazingly with the items and with that kind of assassination play. Most of these backline units such as the Kimi as well as the Bruno, they are in so much trouble.
Finding concealed play, Tsunami Slam onto Bray.
Oh, wow.
Won't be able to survive this one. The damage from Vanix is a little bit too much as RSG gunning everyone down. As CS, the secondary damage dealer of the team, putting in the work to alleviate some of the pressure from Bray.
Now that's overconfidence coming in from Bray. Went straight in for the throat while the Tsunami Slam was still available over to the side of JPL. Gotta respect that.
It is already coming in. They're trying to buy as much time as possible. They have to deal with the Fanny as well. JPL trying to slow everyone down, but implosion lands onto him.
Ow!
2 goes down, down goes 3. It's Fanny against the world. If anyone else might be Hades as the minions. Oh, they don't have the minions coming through.
One more hit. Ballista!
Closer!
Ballista!
What was that? Oh my.